I want to have Austin Rivers rejoin us here and just dig into this. Get your first blush initial thoughts. By the way, if you're wondering, Pacers-Knicks Game 1, Madison Square Garden, Monday night. And if you're old enough, and I certainly know your father was in the thick of these during his playing days in his era, you know what this rivalry is all about. Again, Pacers-Knicks Game 1, Monday at the Garden. Let's dig into this piece by piece. Michael showed you the big three from Josh Hart with 25 seconds to go, the Villanova product, coming back to the city of brotherly love, hitting the biggest shot of the series. What did you make of that late moment and that shot from Hart?
You know, me and Hart actually have the same shooting coach, and it seems like he's just continued to grow and trust that shot. They were leaving him open. They were double-teaming Oubre and Batum. And listen, Brunson played with this guy in college. They won a championship together. He had complete trust in him. He threw him that ball. He passed fake to his other teammate, DiVincenzo, and that's all work right there. That's all hard work. Mark Ramsdell is a shooting coach, and that's a big shot, man. I mean, that won the game amongst a lot of other winning plays. But Josh Hart, time and time again, just comes through for this team. And it's a lot of times not just his shooting. It's more importantly all the little stuff he does. This guy's constantly, he's the best rebounding guard in the NBA. And he made a lot of big-time plays tonight for them to win, including Hartenstein and the other unsung heroes. We know Brunson kills, but those other guys performed tonight.
That's very interesting. Go to Small World. Did you both share the shooting coach? Let's talk a little bit about the third member of that Knicks triumvirate that went to Villanova and came back and haunted the hometown Sixers, and that would be Brunson. You mentioned him. DiVincenzo did his part. Hart did his part. But Brunson dominated the series. He got the MVP chance in Philly the last time they were there from the horde of Knicks fans that made their way over to Philadelphia. What did you make of Brunson's performance in this postseason series, considering everything we saw from him, his star turn in the regular season?
He's just such a big-time player. He's took the league by storm this year. And, you know, when you talk about your average fan being relatable to a guy, Brunson, I don't know if there's anybody else who can come to mind more than him. He's not the most athletic. He's not the most fast. But, my God, what he lacks up in athleticism, he makes up in skill and craft, wit. He plays at his own pace. He plays like he's 6'6", the way he's able to get into the paint and finish over guys double his size. He backs down guys who are 4 or 5 inches taller than him, able to get to that sweet spot. Probably one of the best mid-range players in basketball right now, and one of the best in basketball coming off a pick. Player on his hip and getting the shot that he wants. If he continues to play like this, he's playing like a superstar. The questions of him being a 1A are over. I don't even want to hear that, whether he's a 1A, 1B. That guy is only 1A. He's one of the best guards in the league. He should be going to Paris, in my opinion, but that's a conversation for another time. But he's dominated, and he's led this team right to where they need to be in the second round, going against the Pacers where they're probably favored.
Yeah, if Steve Kerr's listening, you want him on the Olympic team in Paris, you've got the seal of approval here from Austin, and I agree with you. Instead of going 1A, you might as well reverse it to go to A1. He's been great. He signed a $100 million deal. Everyone said the Knicks spent too much money. They've spent years looking for a free agent that would join the team. People were underwhelmed when he joined the Knicks, and it's turned out to be one of the best moves that general manager Leon Rose has made. All right, I want to go to the other side here. As soon as the game went final, they had a big tight shot of Joel Embiid, and the look on his face, just complete bewilderment. But look, he had the Bell's palsy diagnosis. He came back with a 50-point game in the series, clearly not playing 100% tonight. In defeat, what did you make of Embiid's performance?
First off, tip your hat off to Joel Embiid, man. This is a guy who is playing under the weather, dealing with a variety of issues and injuries, was out there hobbling around and still was able to come up with 39 points and make this series competitive to a point where they were on the brink of forcing a Game 7. A lot of guys probably would have sat out. In fact, a lot of us here at ESPN and other networks told him to probably just slow it down and maybe go into the summer, get your rest, come back next season fully healthy. He didn't listen to any of us, and he played through injury. That's what you want from your stars, right? You want him to play through injuries, and that's what he did. He went out there, he fell on his sword, but he gave you all he got. The emotions after the game, we've seen this from him before. This is an MVP, man, and he wants to win. Look at the other MVPs around this era. Giannis, Jokic, both of them have rings. This is a guy who's won the MVP, was probably favored to win this year before he got hurt. He wants to compete for a championship, and right now they keep coming up short. They got to get a better supporting cast around him. If you look at some of the guys tonight, there are some glaring numbers of players that just weren't able to get it done and haven't been able to get it done for him. So you feel for Joel.
Yeah, we're going to have Nick Nurse here comment on that in just a second, but you mentioned the glaring numbers, so I'll just accentuate it here. Kyle Lowry, 0 points. Tobias Harris, 0 points. All 5 Knicks starters, all of them in double figures, led by Brunson, who had 41. You mentioned it. What did you make of the fact that Embiid needed some help in a game they needed to save their season, and 2 starters gave him nothing?
Yeah, that did it right there. When you look at the Knicks, they had a balanced attack. Every single guy has a huge part in their team. Obviously, Brunson's the head of the snake, but you have DiVincenzo, who poured in 20-plus points per game, or 20 points tonight. You have Hart, you have OG, you have Hartenstein, who people don't talk about enough. He's been fantastic for the Knicks. But when you look at this Sixers team, 0 points for Lowry, okay, I can handle that. But when you're paying $180 million to a guy like Tobias Harris, and that's a friend of mine, I love TB, great professional, but this is a guy who has not performed at the level of what his contract says, especially in a game like tonight. 0 points is just, I don't know how to diagnose that or what excuse we could pretty much come up with, for that. I would love to hear from him and what he feels, and maybe he's getting isolated on the offense. I don't know. But Maxey obviously didn't have his best game, didn't shoot at a high percentage, but you can't put any blame on that young man considering what he did in the Garden last game. So tonight you needed something because Maxey wasn't having his usual scoring night. You needed Tobias Harris to have 15 points. They got a great lift from Batum all series. Buddy Hield came out of nowhere tonight and had a big game, but you needed Tobias. You really did.
NBA